What truly makes someone beautiful? Welcome to Online Wellness, where we explore the secrets to living a healthy, confident, and radiant life. Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered, why do some people seem to glow effortlessly, even without layers of makeup? What is it about them that captivates your attention in a way that feels almost magnetic? Is it a hidden secret they possess? Or have they simply tapped into something we've yet to discover? The answer lies in something beyond the visible. It's the beauty nurtured from within. True beauty isn't about flawless makeup or perfect appearances. It's about confidence, inner peace, and self-love. These seemingly invisible qualities create a magnetic allure, a radiance that no cosmetic can replicate. Imagine waking up each morning feeling energized, looking in the mirror, and seeing yourself glow, not because of a stunning outfit or expertly applied makeup, but because you genuinely feel alive from within. Sounds like a dream, doesn't it? But this can be your reality, no magic. No expensive beauty products required. In today's video, we'll uncover 5 powerful tips to help you shine from the inside out every single day. These tips will not only transform how you see yourself, but also help you exude confidence and radiance in every moment of your life. So, are you ready to unlock the secrets to natural beauty? I once read about a woman who captivated me the moment I met her. She wasn't the most conventionally beautiful person in the room. She didn't have striking features or an exceptionally distinct demeanor. Yet, there was something undeniably magnetic about her. A mysterious charm that drew every gaze in her direction whenever she entered a room. The first time I saw her, I couldn't help but wonder, what creates such beauty? Later, when I had the chance to talk to her, she shared her secret, a story I've never forgotten. She told me that, in the past, she used to struggle with deep insecurity. Every time she looked in the mirror, all she could see were her flaws. But one day, she decided to change. Instead of focusing on what she didn't like about herself, she started to compliment herself each morning. Before leaving the house, she'd look in the mirror and say, "Today, I'll do better than yesterday. I am beautiful enough, confident enough to handle whatever comes my way." At first, it felt awkward, even fake, but she persisted. Within weeks, her feelings started to shift, and something remarkable happened. Not only did her own perspective change, but others began to perceive her differently as well. From a timid person, she transformed into someone who radiated confidence and inner strength. Her story made me think deeply. We often seek validation from others, but we forget that the most powerful recognition comes from within. When you're confident, your eyes light up, your smile becomes brighter, and your entire face exudes a natural, magnetic beauty. What's even more miraculous is that when you learn to appreciate yourself, you also start to notice the beauty in others. And when you spread positivity, it comes back to you in ways you never expected. Think about it. Every morning when you wake up and stand in front of the mirror, instead of fixating on what you haven't accomplished or the imperfections you see, take a moment to say something kind to yourself. Perhaps something like, "Today, I'll do something meaningful." Or, "I'm proud of what I've achieved so far." These small affirmations can lead to profound changes. A friend of mine once told me how this simple habit transformed her life. She not only felt more confident, but also found herself bursting with energy to take on each new day, no longer weighed down by the judgment of others. She stepped out into the world with inner confidence and radiance, a glow that everyone she met could feel. It all started with those small, positive words she said to herself. Here's what I want you to remember. Don't wait for someone else to compliment you. Be the first to acknowledge your own worth. When you learn to value yourself, you'll not only see your own beauty more clearly, but also make the world around you shine a little brighter. This belief isn't just about inner beauty. It's a cornerstone of resilience and success. One entrepreneur I admire once shared a similar sentiment. Despite his great achievements, he said his success wasn't solely due to hard work. It also came from cultivating inner peace. There was a time when his work life was incredibly stressful, long meetings, high-stakes decisions, and unrelenting pressure left him feeling depleted. He noticed that his stress wasn't just affecting his performance but was also visible on his face. His skin appeared dull, his eyes lost their sparkle, and his smile disappeared. That's when he started meditating. First, he dedicated just 5 minutes a day to sitting quietly and focusing on his breath. Over time, he realized that when he felt calm and centered, it wasn't just his mind that changed, his face transformed. 2. The tension lines faded. His eyes regained their brightness, and his smile returned. He explained that meditation wasn't just a tool to cope with stress. It was his key to maintaining a youthful, radiant presence. I decided to follow his advice, and I was amazed by the results. Just a few minutes of stillness each day left me feeling more at peace, and the effects were almost instantly visible on my face. You can try this too. Sometimes, you don't need to change anything external. Simply quieting your mind can make everything feel different. Remember, beauty isn't reserved for the lucky few. It's the light that radiates from a calm and content heart, from the satisfaction of being at peace with yourself. No matter how hectic life gets, take time each day to find balance. It's the greatest gift you can give to yourself. One time, I reconnected with an old friend after years apart. When I saw her, I barely recognized her, not because she looked different, but because she seemed so radiant and vibrant. When I asked her what had changed, she smiled and said, "There's no big secret. I just started taking care of myself." She shared that in the past, she was always too busy with work and family to think about herself. But when her health began to decline, she realized that if she didn't care for herself, she wouldn't be able to care for the people she loved. So, she made small but meaningful changes, eating healthier, getting enough sleep, and carving out time for exercise. Each morning, she spent a few minutes meditating or taking a peaceful walk around her neighborhood. In the evenings, she swapped scrolling on her phone for reading a book she loved. These simple habits didn't just improve her health, they made her feel more alive and joyful. In our busy lives, it's easy to forget about ourselves. We prioritize work, family, and friends without realizing that our body and soul need nourishment too. If you're feeling drained or stressed, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what have I done for myself today? When you start prioritizing self-care, you'll find that even the smallest actions, a good night's sleep, a nourishing meal, or a few minutes of stillness can bring about big changes. Not only will you feel better, but your beauty will shine through, inside and out. Have you ever noticed how some people radiate positive energy, making you feel at ease just by being around them? I once met a woman like that. She was a single mother, and her life wasn't easy. Yet, despite the challenges, she always wore a warm, genuine smile. When I asked how she managed to stay so optimistic, her answer was simple: "I find reasons to be grateful every day." She shared that even the smallest things, a sunny morning, a meal with her daughter, or a friendly greeting from a neighbor, were sources of gratitude. These small moments of appreciation helped her overcome difficulties. Her unwavering positivity lit up her face, making her look radiant regardless of life's storms. You can do the same. Every night before bed, think of 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big. Sometimes, a good cup of coffee or a stranger's smile is enough. When you focus on the positive, you'll discover that life is filled with beauty you might have overlooked. True beauty doesn't lie in external appearances. It's the light that shines from within when you care for yourself and embrace who you are. Start today, love yourself, and prioritize your well-being. You deserve to shine in your own unique way. A successful entrepreneur I once knew shared with me the reality of his life. A series of days many might envy, but which were filled with crushing pressure. His company was a leader in its industry, and every day was a relentless cycle of meetings, critical decisions, and challenges he couldn't escape. To the outside world, it looked like he was living a dream, but the truth was that, at times, felt more like a nightmare. He explained that there came a point when the pressure began to erode not only his mind but his body. He could no longer recognize himself in the mirror. His once vibrant and energetic face had become gaunt, and his eyes had lost their usual spark. Wrinkles began to appear not from age, but from sleepless nights and the relentless tension he didn't know how to release. One day, he decided he couldn't go on like that. He needed to make a change, not just for the sake of his work but for himself and his family. A friend suggested he try meditation. First, he dismissed the idea, thinking it unrealistic given his busy schedule. But with no other options, he decided to give it a try. He started with just 5 minutes every morning, sitting quietly and focusing on his breath. There were no complicated rules, just breathing in, breathing out, and letting his mind rest. The results were astounding. Within a few days, he began to feel more relaxed. The chaotic thoughts swirling in his head seemed to settle into order. Even more surprising, his face started to change. The tension lines faded, his smile returned, and the brightness in his eyes reappeared. He couldn't believe that just 5 minutes a day could bring such a positive transformation to his life. Hearing his story, I realized that inner peace isn't something elusive or unattainable. It doesn't require a complete overhaul of our lives or abandoning our responsibilities. Sometimes, all it takes is a few moments each day to reconnect with ourselves. That's where we can find the tranquility we thought was out of reach. I remember a time when I, too, was under immense stress. Worries and pressures from work and life piled up, leaving me feeling like I was sinking into a bottomless ocean. One night, inspired by his story, I decided to try meditation myself. I turned off all the lights and sat in silence. First, my mind raced with endless thoughts. What do I need to do tomorrow? What did I mess up today? Am I even good enough? But as I focused on my slow, steady breathing, I began to feel a shift. I realized that all those worries were temporary. I didn't have to control everything. The next morning, when I looked in the mirror, I noticed something different. My face didn't look as tired as it had in previous days. My eyes seemed calmer, and my smile felt more natural. Meditation had helped me regain balance, and I knew this was a practice I needed to make part of my daily routine. Inner peace doesn't just help you handle stress. It's a magical remedy for your appearance as well. Have you noticed how your face tightens when you're anxious? The wrinkles on your forehead, the crow's feet around your eyes, they all become more pronounced when your mind is tense. But when you feel peaceful, your face naturally relaxes. This isn't something you can fake. Your inner state and outer appearance are deeply connected. Another friend of mine, a school teacher, shared her own experience. Every day, she faced dozens of students, along with the pressure from parents and administrators. Once, she confided in me that she often felt like a ticking time bomb, ready to explode from stress. I shared the story of the entrepreneur and suggested she try meditation. After a few weeks, she sent me a message thanking me. Meditation, she said, not only helped her manage her emotions but also improved her interactions with her students and colleagues. Even her students noticed a change, telling her she seemed softer and more approachable. Do you see the pattern? Just a few minutes a day can not only transform how you feel but also how others perceive you. When you cultivate inner peace, you not only radiate beauty from within but also spread positive energy to those around you. Isn't that worth trying? Modern life often makes us forget the value of stillness. We're caught in an endless cycle of goals and expectations, always chasing something. But remember, you can't give to others if you're running on empty. Inner peace isn't a luxury. It's a necessity for living a fulfilled, meaningful life. Take a few minutes each day to turn everything off and simply listen to yourself. Let go of worries and negative thoughts as easily as they come. When you find your inner peace, you'll notice everything becomes clearer. Most importantly, your face will start to glow. Not because of makeup or expensive skincare, but because you've tapped into your true beauty from within. I vividly remember a time when my life felt suffocated by a relentless schedule and overwhelming pressures. Workdays stretched endlessly, Deadlines piled up one after another, and social commitments left me utterly drained. Day by day, I stopped recognizing the person in the mirror. Pale skin, dark circles under my eyes from lack of sleep, a body weighed down by exhaustion. It all seemed to scream that I had completely neglected myself. Every morning, I would wake up feeling physically and mentally depleted. I threw myself into work, hoping that staying busy would help me ignore the way I felt. But the harder I tried, the more disconnected I became from myself. One day, staring at my reflection, I faced a truth I had been avoiding. I had abandoned myself. I had stopped caring for my body and soul. That day, I decided things needed to change. I started with the smallest steps. First, I set a goal to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. It sounds simple, but at the time, felt like a huge challenge. I used to convince myself I didn't have the time to sleep that much. But when I committed to it, I realized that sleep wasn't just rest. It was a way for my body and mind to reset. After just a few days, I felt more clear-headed and no longer sluggish in the mornings. And the most surprising thing? My skin started to glow. It was less dry and rough. I didn't need any expensive skincare products, just a good night's sleep. Next, I decided to change my diet. Before, my meals revolved around fast food and greasy takeout. I knew it wasn't healthy, but I always justified it by saying I was too busy to cook. Now, I started incorporating more fresh vegetables, fruits, and wholesome foods into my daily meals. Simple dishes gave me a sense of lightness and refreshment. Within a week, my body felt less sluggish, and I noticed I craved junk food less and less. Mealtime even became a small joy, knowing I was nourishing my body with good choices. Then, I began incorporating movement into my routine. I didn't join a gym or train for a marathon. I simply dedicated 15 minutes a day to walking around my neighborhood. Those minutes became a time to breathe in the fresh air, feel my feet touch the ground, and let my mind unwind. Morning walks left me feeling more energized than a cup of coffee, and evening strolls under the streetlights eased my worries, as if my troubles were dissolving with every step. Within a month, I was astonished by the transformation these small habits brought. My skin looked healthier, my eyes were brighter, and my smile returned. But more importantly, I felt reconnected with myself. These moments of self-care didn't just improve my appearance. They taught me to love and value myself again. I remember a friend of mine sharing a similar story. She was a busy mother juggling work and caring for her children. She always put her family's needs first, never considering her own. One day, she reached a point of total exhaustion and realized she couldn't continue that way. She decided that to care for her family, she had to start caring for herself. She began with small changes: 10 minutes of yoga each morning, eating a proper breakfast instead of skipping it, and occasionally treating herself to a quiet evening with a favorite book. Within weeks, she felt not only healthier but also happier, and this positivity spread to her entire family. In today's fast-paced world, I've come to believe that self-care isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. We devote time to our work, families, and friends, but we often forget that our own bodies and souls need love too. Sometimes, the smallest changes, a good night's sleep, a healthy meal, or a few minutes of walking can lead to the biggest results. When you take time to care for yourself, you're not just improving your health, you're creating balance in your life. You'll realize that every moment spent on yourself isn't wasted. It's an investment in your happiness and well-being. So why not start today? Give yourself the chance to be cared for, because you truly deserve it. I once had a close friend whom everyone thought was incredibly lucky. She had a stable job, attractive looks, and what seemed like a perfect life. But every time we had a deep conversation, I realized her inner world was a tangled web of emotions. She constantly felt she wasn't pretty enough, skilled enough, or good enough, and she couldn't stop comparing herself to others. Why can they do better than me? Why can't I be like them? These questions replayed endlessly in her mind. She told me that every time she scrolled through social media, seeing the curated, glamorous lives of friends and celebrities. She felt insignificant. "I'll never measure up to them," she said, her voice heavy with sadness. Day by day, this comparison drained her. No matter how hard she worked, how much she dieted, or how many expensive beauty products she tried, the emptiness inside her remained. One day, she decided to enroll in a self-love workshop. First, she was skeptical, even dismissive, thinking it was too sentimental. But during the first sessions, she confronted a truth she had never acknowledged. She had never truly loved or appreciated herself. The instructor asked her, "If you're constantly comparing yourself to others, how will you ever see your own worth?" That question struck her like a wake-up call. She began to change, starting with the smallest steps. Instead of focusing on what she lacked, she started recognizing her accomplishments. Every night before bed, she wrote down 3 things she felt proud of that day. Sometimes it was as simple as completing a task on time, cooking a nice meal, or reading a book she loved. She discovered that when she concentrated on the positives, her mood began to shift. In another class, she was asked to stand in front of a mirror and say to herself, "I am enough. I am worthy of love." First, she felt awkward and couldn't even look herself in the eye. But with repeated practice, she started to feel a deep connection with herself. She no longer fixated on her flaws. Instead, she saw a person who was trying her best every day. I remember her telling me that she had stopped comparing herself to others. "I've realized that everyone has their own story, their own path. Comparing myself only made me miss the chance to discover who I truly am." From someone who was once riddled with insecurity, she blossomed into someone who radiated confidence naturally. What struck me most was how her appearance transformed as well. The stress lines on her forehead seemed to fade. Her smile became more vibrant, and her eyes sparkled with joy. Looking at her, I learned something profound. Self-love and acceptance aren't distant goals. They aren't things you wait for someone else to give you. They're gifts you can give yourself every single day. When you learn to love yourself, you stop being consumed by flaws or unmet goals. Instead, you realize those imperfections are what make you unique. I've gone through a similar phase where self-doubt consumed my thoughts. I constantly felt that I wasn't good enough, that my efforts didn't matter. But remembering her story, I decided to try what she had done. I began writing down things I was grateful for each day, not just the things I had, but the challenges I had overcome. I learned to forgive myself when I made mistakes. Instead of berating myself, "It's okay, I'll do better next time," became my mantra when I faced setbacks. Something magical happened. I started feeling less stressed, and it showed in my appearance. The signs of exhaustion gradually faded. My eyes softened, and my smile became more genuine. I began to feel more positive about life, and I realized that true beauty doesn't come from trying to change yourself to fit someone else's standards. It comes from accepting and valuing who you are. We live in a world where comparison feels almost inevitable. But think about how much time and energy you lose chasing after standards that aren't your own. What if, instead, you used that time to explore and cherish yourself? When you do, you'll realize you don't need to be anyone else to feel happy. Being yourself is enough. I hope, like my friend, you'll find your true worth and learn to treasure it. Because when you love yourself, the world reflects that love back to you through the connections you make, the smiles you receive, and the confidence you exude. And above all, you'll see that you've always been enough, beautiful, capable, and lovable just as you are. I once knew a woman, a single mother, whose strength and radiance left me in awe. Her life was far from easy. Her husband had passed away when her daughter was just 5 years old. She had to juggle earning a living, raising her child, and enduring pressures from both family and society. Yet, what impressed me most wasn't the challenges she faced, but how she approached them, with an unshakable optimism. During one of our conversations, I asked her how she managed to stay so positive. She smiled and answered simply, "When you're grateful for what you have, everything around you becomes better." Her words seemed simple, but they carried immense power. She shared that in the early days after her husband's passing, she cried often, feeling as though her world had crumbled into darkness. But one day, as she looked in the mirror, she realized that if she stayed trapped in despair, what would become of her daughter? Who would guide her through life if not her? That was the moment she decided to change. She began by writing down 3 things she was grateful for each day. Sometimes, they were as small as a meal she cooked or the bright smile on her daughter's face during bedtime stories. These small acknowledgments helped her see that, no matter how tough life was, there were always little joys to cherish. On another occasion, when work pressures mounted and she faced criticism for missing a project deadline, she felt hurt, but instead of sinking into sadness, she reminded herself, "Challenges are temporary. I can overcome this." She asked herself what she could learn from the mistake and turned her self-criticism into motivation to improve next time. It became clear to me that her optimistic mindset was what made her shine. While there wasn't anything particularly striking about her physical appearance, her face always seemed radiant, and her eyes sparkled with life. This made everyone who met her feel drawn to her. Seeing someone find joy in small things creates a ripple effect of positivity. She was living proof that true beauty doesn't come from external appearances but from the way you approach life. I remember another story she shared. One morning, as her daughter was getting ready for school, the little girl accidentally spilled milk on her uniform. While many people might have reacted with frustration, she simply smiled, cleaned up the mess, and said, "It's okay, sweetheart. We'll just change into another shirt." She explained that her smile didn't just reassure her daughter, it also lightened her own heart. She firmly believed that every problem had a solution and that sometimes all we needed was a bit of calm and a smile. Her positive attitude didn't just help her overcome hardships, it also made life better for those around her. Her friends and colleagues often said they felt at ease in her presence because she radiated the belief that no matter how difficult life could be, there were always good things to appreciate. I've tried to adopt this way of living in my own life, and the results have been remarkable. Once, I was working on an important project that didn't turn out as I'd hoped. Initially, I felt crushed and berated myself for failing. But then I remembered her words, "Challenges are temporary." Instead of dwelling on my disappointment, I wrote down 3 things I was grateful for that day. First, I acknowledged that I'd learned valuable lessons from the experience. Second, I appreciated the supportive colleagues who stood by me. And third, I reminded myself that I had another chance to do better in the future. Writing those things down brought me a sense of relief. I no longer felt stuck, but instead felt confident enough to move forward. Optimism isn't something that comes naturally to everyone, but it's a habit we can cultivate. It doesn't require you to overhaul your entire life. Just start small. Try writing down 3 things you're grateful for each day. Could be the morning sunshine, a delicious cup of coffee, or simply a quiet moment to yourself. When you focus on the positive, you'll notice the world around you becomes brighter. I've realized that optimism doesn't just help us navigate tough times. It also makes us more beautiful from the inside out. When you live with positivity, your face naturally lights up, and your eyes reflect the joy within. You don't need heavy makeup or expensive clothes to shine. Your energy is what makes you truly radiant. I hope you, like that single mother, can find joy in the small moments of life. Because when you see the world through a lens of gratitude and positivity, you not only bring happiness to yourself but also inspire those around you. So why not start today? Take a moment to reflect on the good things you already have, and you'll see just how wonderful life can truly be. Inner beauty. The journey starts with you. And there you have it. We've journeyed together through 5 simple yet transformative steps to enhance your inner beauty. Always remember, true beauty isn't about chasing external standards but about how you live, feel, and love yourself. Take a moment to ask yourself, am I truly taking the time to care for and love myself? When I look in the mirror, do I see appreciation or just flaws? If your answer leans toward the latter, today is the perfect time to make a change. Start practicing the steps we've shared. Compliment yourself daily. because you deserve recognition and love. Create moments of inner peace, as relaxation and tranquility are priceless gifts you can give yourself. Nurture your body and mind with small but meaningful actions, because a healthy body is the foundation of a radiant soul. Embrace and accept yourself, for you are a unique and extraordinary being in this world. Live with optimism, as the light of positive thinking will always guide you in the right direction. You don't need to change anyone or anything around you. The journey begins with how you view yourself. When you transform from within, the world around you will respond in remarkable ways. Beauty isn't about what others see. It's about the joy, confidence, and self-love you cultivate for yourself. So why wait? Start now. Are you ready to become the most radiant version of yourself? If you found this video inspiring, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your loved ones. Together, let's spread the message of inner beauty so that each new day becomes not just another day, but an opportunity to shine. See you in our next video. Stay radiant, confident, and full of life. Cherry Blossom.